Baseball and Whatever, with your host, Justin McAwee.
Because I was on campus and I had to appear like I was one of the cool kids, I would put the Star Wars book inside one of my textbooks so it looked like I was just studying for class.
All right, look, there's only one return, okay? And it ain't of the king, it's of the Jedi.
Vincent Francis Jankowitz of Ford.
I'm a glorified fact checker.
Last I checked, the most runs in a game wins.
Actually, I am a fact checker.
And Greg Probst.
If you look at most Bond fans movie rankings, they have Casino Royale and Majesties in their top two. For me, these actually rank in the bottom part of my list. I mean, I love them, but they don't compare to Diamond Dust Forever.
No, stop getting Bond wrong!
Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome back. This is Baseball and Whatever, episode 74. Holy cow! We are super excited. We are joined by the one, the only from the Dingers Cubs podcast, Jake Bujnowski. Jake, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, boys. Thanks for having me. I'm glad we could finally get it figured out. We were talking in pre that it was like we started messaging on Twitter, like probably. I mean, obviously we've been connected on Twitter for a while. But you guys reached out in like July or like maybe June, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll make it happen in July, and then time just flew by, and finally here. So I'm happy to be here, guys.
No, thank you. Yeah, I feel like summer vacation goes so quick, and then I'm still living that life for I don't know how long, since kindergarten, since I'm teaching still, but
you're doing it right, man.
I'm so as of right now, we'll see how much longer I can hold on for. But so I'm here, Vinny's here, Jake's here. A couple things. We're going to talk about the Cubs. We'll discuss Ian Happ got a Golden Glove nomination, which it is well documented, right, Vinny? I've been a Ian Happ fan since day one.
Day one, yes, never wavered at all.
Never wavered at all. Not really. But I am on board the Ian Happ bandwagon now. We can talk about a variety of things, some stuff maybe with some signings potentially down the road in the offseason, free agency, hot stove talk coming up. We might dive a little bit into the Bears predictions for Bears Patriots. I know, Jake, we were discussing that you and I watched the Bears game, and I don't know what my problem is. I find joy in when things go wrong and they blow it and they screw up. Like, it makes me so happy is really the wrong word to use, but I get a kick out of it.
There's a word for that, Justin.
What's that?
It's called Schadenfreude.
Fair enough. So we'll maybe we'll dive into. I did see that Bill Belichick gave like a 10-minute press conference talking about how the Bears were like the next best thing since the '85 Bears. So I don't know what he was smoking prior to his press conference, but holy cow! And then in speaking with Jake for our whatever topic this week, we are going to rank our top 5 minor league baseball logos or independent league. It could kind of open up to a variety of things. I know. The Carolina Disco Turkeys are like our best buds on Twitter. They will talk to anybody and everybody.
Shouts. Yeah,
so
they're great.
They're awesome. So, I don't know. We'll do a variety of things. I know I was doing mine today during my lunch break, and it made me think back to like fall ball, because at least in my little league, fall ball was all the minor league teams. We didn't use the pro teams unless it was the regular season, so to speak. So it really took me back to looking at some of those old caps and logos and stuff like that. So before we get into that, if this is your first time, though, thank you for joining us. We were Baseball and Whatever. First half is primarily Chicago sports. Second half is the whatever topic, pop culture, any of that good stuff. You can find us on Twitter at Baseball and What. Vinny is rocking that Twitter handle. We are almost at 900 followers now. Way to go, Vinny. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/baseball and whatever, or Twitch if you're a Twitch streamer, twitch.tv/baseball and whatever. And you can email the show at baseballwhatever@gmail.com. And last but not least, we have the text and voicemail line, 1-913-808-3278. That number again is 1-913-808-FART. And I will admit, next week we will have our Jason Kendall interview go live. We had him on again, and I was reading the voicemail line, and I'm not going to lie, I did not do the whole fart thing, because I'm like, I can't have this conversation with a professional baseball player. I'm like, we're gonna try and keep it classy. Before he stops answering. Yeah, sorry, Jake. We lowered the bar a little bit.
I'm here for it. No, I'm no. Listen, I wasn't better than Yadier Molina. Okay, I gotta say too, if for people listening, if you haven't listened to the first Jason Kendall interview, go back and listen to it. That was so fun.
Well, thank you.
Like you guys hit so many great topics and just a lot of great talking points. And it was very interesting to hear his opinions on, analytics, talking to him about video games, like being in a video game, like
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting where he was kind of like, yeah, I didn't really like know anything about it. It's like, dude, what? Like, I feel like people nowadays, like, like kids in the show nowadays got to be stoked about it. But that was a great interview, and I'm excited to hear round 2 with you guys.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the 98 home run chase, what it was like with McGuire and Sosa and steroids. He got a little bit into steroids and his kind of thoughts on that, which was really interesting. We did a little bit of a discussion on, he talked about going overseas to play in Japan for kind of like a summer or a fall tour. Vinny, is that what you would kind of describe it as? Kind of like an MLB fall tour. And he had a pretty good Sammy Sosa story, which was very interesting. We talked a little bit about Aaron Judge. What else? I know I'm missing stuff here. His managerial roles down the road. So we are going to try and beat John Heyman and Jeff Passan and stuff. If anything ever gets announced, he already told us he will text us and let us know if something's coming down the pipe. The fact that I was texting with him yesterday, still like as a baseball player as a kid, like I was telling Vinny, like it's really weird to be like, oh yeah, that guy I watched on TV that was an all-star that was like a Cubs killer in terms of contact and batting average. Oh yeah, he's texting me saying, yeah, I'll talk to you later tonight. I'm like, what is going on?
How did you guys get in touch with him to be like? I think you went over it, but I can't remember.
It is the strangest thing. Over my summer vacation, I was at home with my daughter. She wasn't feeling good, and I was watching for a while. I got into a really deep dive of going on YouTube and watching like classic Cubs games and classic Bulls games from the 90s because it just made me like warm and fuzzy inside, I guess. So I was watching one. It was like 97 against the Pirates, and I just tweeted like, oh man, Jason Kendall and Sammy and like Kevin Ory and like Jeff Facero, like all these guys that I remember growing up watching, and he liked our tweet. And so he must have searched for himself. I don't know. And then like from there, I just messaged him and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just shot in the dark. I'm like, we're 3 brother-in-laws. I don't know if you're even going to read this. We'd love to have you on. And he messaged me back. He's like, I don't do this kind of stuff, but since it's kind of cool, you're all family members. Yeah, I'll come on. And then like since then, like he periodically will text me once in a while. We sent him a shirt, which he wore last night during the show. And he's like, for any of you fans out there, you guys got to get one of these shirts. Comfiest shirt I own. I'm like, Jason, you are awesome, man. Thank you so much.
That is so tight.
Yeah, it was so cool. Yep. So stay tuned for that. But this is going to be an awesome episode, especially if you like baseball and baseball logos. I'm really excited. The graphic design thing is, I feel like I don't have anything to do with graphic design besides making our little Canva thumbnails. So I'm very curious to get Jake's graphic design background and kind of get his thoughts on logos. Before we do that, though, it is episode 74. We talked about this earlier. I have no freaking clue who's a 74 for any of the Chicago teams. Vinny, I know, is not surprised.
Dig deep, Justin.
I can't even think of like a Blackhawk that wore 74, and those are the only numbers I know by heart. So what do you got for us, Vinny?
Oh, wow. You don't have... Okay. Most of these are very recent for 74.
But I'm sure they're like relief pitchers that pitched like 10 innings.
Okay. I'm gonna we can start with the White Sox because both of you should probably be able to guess this one.
I'm not a White Sox fan.
Wait,
Eloy. Eloy, right?
Oh, is it Eloy?
Yes, Eloy. This is the only one in White Sox history to wear 74.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So we'll start there. That was the easy one.
Oh, gee, thanks.
The Cubs have had 3 74 players to wear 74. 2 wore it just last season, and then 1 was the season before. Do you guys have any names?
I already cheated. So
I have no idea.
I only looked up the Cubs because I was curious.
That's fine. That's fine.
I was surprised to see. So okay, listen, I follow the Cubs extremely closely. I don't know who Kevin Castro is.
Yeah, it's Curvin Castro. There's an R
Curvin.
In there. Yeah, so that makes it even
I'm double disrespectful.
More mysterious.
Darwin Castro's like long lost brother. I don't know who
should be.
Yeah,
stepbrother.
Maybe.
Curvin Castro, Jared Young, and Trevor McGill.
Trevor McGill, I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
Reliever,
yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah, they were high on McGill. They thought that the pitch lab would unlock something, and not with the Cubs, and doesn't look like they unlocked anything with the Twins either, which is where he is now.
Yeah. Oof. All right. What else you got, Vinny?
All right. Moving on to the Blackhawks. Justin, there was one person that has worn that number 2020 to 2022.
Can you give me a position?
Oh,
I know that. And I'm asking you to do
defense.
overtime work.
Yeah, defender shoots left. Canadian.
That narrows it down. Thank you, Vinny. A Canadian on a hockey
half
team?
the players on the team.
Say it ain't so. Oh, God. I feel like it's... God,
Initials are NB. Does that help?
They're so bad.
Nicholas Bodin.
Yes.
Bodin?
Nicholas
There
Bodin,
we go.
yes. I think he's back with Rockford this year. I don't think he made the team, which I don't know what that says about him because they're god-awful. Holy cow, they're bad. But thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Okay, no Bulls. No Bulls till 77. Okay. All right, on to the Bears where there's a plethora of players. Nobody probably any darn good. Except maybe one guy on the 85 team. Okay, so Jermaine Ifedi, he wore that?
Yes.
Oh, I remember Ifedi,
him. Yeah, nobody liked him in Chicago, really, though.
No, he wasn't good. Jermon Bushrod, you guys remember him? Came over from the Saints.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of saying like there's Canadians in hockey though, like players that aren't very good that play for the Bears. You know that?
Yeah,
right?
that's a lot. Yep. Yeah. Jonathan Bullard, you guys remember him?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I remember Bullard.
Chris Williams, that was a big one there.
Yes, I do remember him.
Line guy, couldn't play. Not surprising. No. Reuben Brown.
No, that one I don't know.
2004 to 2007 offensive lineman.
That would have been the Super Bowl year. Yeah, no.
Yeah?
No.
You don't remember him. Surprising, Justin.
Yeah. But I could tell you all about like the 90s guys from Madden like 98 though if you want.
That's why I remembered Bullard because I think he was what year did Bullard play for the Bears?
2016.
Yeah, I was big into Madden then, and I made a dynasty with the Bears. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we have one Hall of Fame player for the Bears. Played 1983 to 1990. It is Jimbo Covert.
Oh yeah, he just got inducted. What, 2 years ago? About a year and a half ago, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Other than that, a lot of I don't know. Wayne Mass, Bob Asher, Jerry Myers. I almost said Jeremy Myers. Jerry Myers. Yeah, not a lot there. Bob. Oh, I don't even want to.
You know what? It's probably not even worth worrying about, Vinny. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, yeah. Oh, he's a one-time NFL. Yeah, I'm not even gonna worry about it. Don't worry.
His people are going to call us. Yeah, your dad's going to be the one that tells us where you're wrong about that. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, that's about it for the Bears. So Jimbo Covert's the big one there.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that does it. We do have a couple. We do have some updates on YouTube and comments. We're up to 135 subscribers on YouTube, and we do have a comment from your dad. He texted into the text line. Vinny, would you like to read your dad's comment?
Sure. Pretzel Vince. Oops. Close enough. Wrong button. Pretzel Vince writes in and says, "Okay, watching the Yankee Guardian games, the rocking baby crap has me pulling for the Astros. Go Astros."
I can't get behind the Astros at all. Still,
I tried to watch like a little bit of the game tonight, and I was just like, I could not care less about either of these teams.
Yeah,
Jake, I'm glad you said that because that's how I feel.
Yeah, the only one that's worth anything is Rizzo, but I mean, at this point, he signed with them in the offseason, so he.
Even Rizzo kind of feels like part of the empire.
He's kind of tainted.
Yeah,
he's kind of tainted a little bit now. I don't like it. Yeah. I'll be honest. I tried to watch some of that first game, and I was like, no, I can't do this. Now, the Padres and Phillies series, I love, the Padres from afar, so I will gladly watch that series. But yeah, I feel like even if the Phillies win that series, I can't pull for the Yankees, and I sure as hell can't pull for the Astros, at least not yet. I like Dusty Baker, but
I like Dusty, and I like Verlander.
Mm-hmm.
I like Justin Verlander. So if he goes out this season, because people were talking, I listen to a lot of fantasy baseball podcasts, and a lot of the stuff that people are talking about is like, well, what's the Astros? The Astros rotation is so stacked, like they've got so many guys, and they always mention Verlander. I'm like, wait a minute, Verlander is a free agent at the end of this season. And podcast after podcast is counting him in the Astros rotation next year. And it's like, no, I mean, maybe he signed with the Astros. Like he seemed to find the fountain of youth with them. It would make sense that if he wants to keep playing and if he likes it there and the team's competitive, like go ahead. As if I'm like the agent. Go ahead, Justin. Sign again with the Astros. Yeah. It's been great for us.
You need another, like, I don't know, luxury yachts. Feel free, sign another deal with them. Come on.
Yeah, and your wife doesn't make any money. She's not making millions. So I would like to see it for Verlander. Verlander's probably going to win AL Cy. I mean, I know, Vinny, are you the resident Sox fan? I know you got all the Cubs stuff. Okay. So I know Cease has an argument for AL Cy, McClanahan too, but dude, my cat's trying to literally climb up my lap right now.
All good.
But yeah, I don't know. That's the one guy that I can root for, I think, on the Astros.
That makes sense. And I mean, I just keep thinking too, like, what could have been had the Cubs brought him in but I mean, I feel like I it's well documented. I was, especially last year, so like down in the dumps with them, but I feel like I've kind of moved on. Same thing with Rizzo. Like I was reading, we can get into this in a second with the Cubs, but like, I was reading an article where like, now's the time, we need to bring back Rizzo. I'm like, no, I've made peace. Like we're good. Like he's a Yankee now. I don't really want him back now. His back is probably like hanging by a thread. I don't know, but, yeah, I feel like that clean break. It's like the ex-girlfriend that you haven't seen in years. It's like don't bring her back around. Like we're good. We can move on now. So
yeah.
Before we get to the baseball talk, we have our hot take segment. Vinny, do you have any hot takes for this week? Nothing bothering you? No. I've been pretty low key this week. No, nothing's bothering me. I don't know, Jake. You got any hot takes? Anything that's bothering you?
I couldn't care less about the Jose Abreu stuff.
Yeah, no.
Have you seen that all over Twitter? Like it's like the one Cubs rumor that's broken out, and it's like we can swear. Right?
Yes, you can say whatever.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like, yes, he's a good baseball player. Like I understand the arguments and stuff, but like I don't understand why people like freak the fuck out about oh my god, Jose Abreu. Like who cares, man? Like that's not the piece that's going to put us over the top. Like,
no,
if we make the signings and then add him, it's a great complimentary signing.
Nailed it. Yep.
Us to freak out over him is so dumb to me.
Vinny, I don't know if you've listened to the Score while you're at work at all lately, but like driving in, listening to sports radio out here, like there were so many angry Cubs fans calling in, being like they didn't get it. Like that's going to be our big signing. What are they thinking? And it's like, just take a deep breath. No, that's not the big signing, because if it is, we're are in trouble. Yeah, if that's where they spend all their money. But yeah, so all right, well let's let me get our ad read done here, and then we can dive into the baseball talk. So we'd like to thank our partner with us on the podcast, In the Clutch, for joining up here with us. In the Clutch is an awesome sports apparel company known for their licensed MLB, Negro League, and MLS apparel, along with great shirts to rep your favorite retro hockey, baseball, and football teams. Better yet, if you head to intheclutch.com right now at checkout, use promo code baseball and what, all one word, you will get 10% off your order. Once again, intheclutch.com, pick out a shirt and it checkout, use promo code baseball and what to get 10% off your order. Thanks again to the folks over at In the Clutch. All right, Vinny, hit the baseball music. Let's go.
Baseball. Welcome back to Major League Baseball. Sort of. Taking a look at Chicago's two favorite teams and other happenings around the MLB.
All right, I'll be honest, Vinny, I don't know where you stand. I don't even think we need to talk White Sox because nothing has really happened. There's the interviewing of managers. Madden has kind of said he has no interest if he can't call all the shots, which I hate to tell him in today's league. I don't think that's going to happen. So, Greg, if you're listening from afar, we apologize. We are going to just skip right over the White Sox. We're going to push them to the side, which, you know what? I'll be honest. Greg probably would agree with us to do that.
Yes, he would.
Greg is in a dark place with the White Sox right now. All right, so let's get to the Cubs. Obviously, first of all, if you're not listening to Jake's podcast, the Dingers Cubs podcast, I highly recommend it. Awesome podcast. It seems like you guys are always having such a good time on there. Way more knowledgeable about baseball than I would imagine either Vinny or I are. So if you want like good, educated baseball talk, check these guys out. Jake is now going to slum it with us, where we talk Cubs baseball here. But I guess, first of all, Jake, thoughts on Ian Happ finally getting some, notoriety for his Golden Glove nomination. What'd you think about that today?
Well, it shows how little that I've been paying attention because I didn't know about it until you said it in the pre-show. I think like I dug into the metrics our last show or 2 shows ago. Happ was great and very I wouldn't say great, very good, and a huge improvement over his previous seasons in the outfield. Especially his center field performance. And it shows the work that he put in the offseason. And I'm really happy he got the nod. I know, I'm sure we'll talk about the shortstop snub, but so I'll save that. But I think it just shows the fact that he's a finalist, whether or not he wins, it just like shows like the Cubs have a really tough decision ahead of them with what to do with Ian Happ. And I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts on that. But what did you guys think? I mean, I thought it was very well deserved.
I want to say I heard today that he had 8 assists from the outfield. I want to say is what the numbers said, if that sounds about right. So like that sounds incredible. Like for me, and Vinnie and I have gone back on and discussed this a lot, but I still remember, God, how many years ago was it that he was sent back to AAA for part of the season? Was that like 3 or 4 years ago at this point? It's
something like that, yeah.
Okay, I still remember, and this is burned into my brain. I remember I had to go to set up. I was doing something with my 403B, which is like the teacher 401k, and I was driving through Joliet down here, on the west of Chicago, going to like the accountant, financial people, and they were breaking the story that Ian Happ had been sent down, and about how he was very angry about this. And I just remember sitting in my car being like, "What a prima donna! I can't believe this guy. He hasn't arrived yet. I'm sorry, but yes, you do need to go back down. You have things you need to work on." And then like you flip the script to like last season and especially this season, like it's awesome to see like he's put it together. Like he is a bona fide awesome left fielder. And I was so happy, and if you would have told me I would be saying this a couple years ago, I was so happy when they didn't trade him because it gave me this like glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, they're going to re-sign him. And I know there was a leak this week that said, oh, they're beginning contract talks with Nico and possibly Ian. And I'm like, okay, good, because if I know there's some Cubs fans that are like, oh, we need to go get Aaron Judge, and I'm like, no, like I'll take Ian Happ. Like I think he fits. He's a leader now. Give me Ian Happ. Vinny, I'm curious, where do you stand on this? Like, I mean, obviously, I think he deserves the Gold Glove recommendation or the top finalist position for sure.
Yeah, I think you guys both made some great points. I think it shows that he's put in the work and it's paid off.
Yeah.
Being sent down and everything, he's come a long way from that. The bat's been a lot better since he first came up. And I think they should hold on to him. I don't think it's gonna, I don't know what his projected market value is gonna be, but I have a feeling he's gonna want, he's a union rep for him right now. So I think I feel like he's gonna test the market. I don't know if they're gonna be able to get an extension done. Maybe they do. I hope they do. I think he'd be a great piece in that outfield. Then you have your corners right now.
Yeah,
all they need is their center fielder, and that's what Brendan Davis's and Pete Crow Armstrong's spot in the future. Then their outfield set. Then focus on the infield, which they should be getting a lot of pieces this offseason. So everything's starting to come together. You kind of start seeing the vision of it. But I think they need to lock Ian Happ, lock him up. He's a great leader on the team. He's a great player. And I just think I think he can get better. I mean, I think there's still room for improvement there. Not saying that he's bad or anything, but there's stuff he can still improve on. And it seems like from the last year to this year, he's improved on it. So yeah, I hope they keep him around for a long time.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I hope, I don't know what he would look for in terms of term and dollar amount, but I'm hoping, like you said, that locks up your corner outfielders for like what, maybe 3 or 4 seasons then, and that would be awesome, especially as they are on that upward trajectory again that we're all hoping for. So, Jake, you did bring up the snub. It's shortstop. No Nico Horner as a potential Gold Glove finalist. Jake, let's start with you. How were you surprised? Were you kind of looking forward to that? What was your take on that?
Yeah, I was shocked. I was thoroughly shocked. I mean, I'm looking at the league leaders right now, and this is just National League. Or no, this is the entire league. So outs above average, I think that's right. Let's take a look at this really quick. mean, if we're looking at outs above average, Nico is third behind Dansby and Lindor. And I don't think it was Lindor that it was Dansby got the nod.
Yep.
And then like
Rojas
Ha-Seong Kim and Miguel Rojas.
Ha-Seong Kim and Rojas. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So Rojas is seventh in outs above average, and Ha-Seong Kim, who is a solid, like those guys are great defenders.
Yeah.
Ha-Seong Kim was sixth. So like I think the one thing that I have heard, and I don't really know how to like look into these metrics, but the one critique that I've heard people talk about is that they think that Nico is benefiting from good positioning pre-pitch. Okay. So like maybe his UZR, his ultimate zone rating, isn't as high because he's positioned well before the ball is even pitched. So he doesn't have to range as far. Sure. Though we have seen him make a lot of great diving, sliding plays, right? So I don't know. I mean, it's tough because like we're by it. Like you look at the numbers and he's up there. He's top 3. And he wasn't top 3 in finalists. And it also bothered me. Like, I'm pretty sure Nico's also a Rawlings guy.
Yeah.
Right?
I
like,
think you're
hey,
right.
Rawlings, like, show your guys some love. Yeah, I don't know. I think the one thing that Cubs fans need to keep in mind, though, is he's been this good and, like, got a snub. But, like, he is, if and hopefully when we sign one of the big shortstops, Nico is going to be a perennial Gold Glove finalist at second base. Period.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like,
yeah.
He is going to be the dude and probably a Silver Slugger finalist second base every season, too.
Yeah.
So, look, all I have to say about Nico is like he proved his point. Like he can be an everyday major league shortstop and hit too. So like defensive, like the arm was not a problem. The play was not a problem defensively. So it just sucks he didn't get that recognition because he proved so many people wrong. And honestly, myself included a little bit. Like I didn't think that he couldn't do it. I just like needed him to prove it, and he did.
Yeah. Oh, yep. in spades too. Like, okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up about moving him to second. So, like, I know obviously with the offseason coming up, whether it's Bogarts or Swansby or Trey Turner or Correa, if they get one of these big name shortstops, you move Nico to second. Poor Nicky Bats, Nicky 2 strikes. It's a shame because I feel like when he came back from that injury, like he looked really good, and I was really excited because holy cow, the first part, when he started and he was still kind of injured, then he came, he got injured and all that, but I kind of feel bad like if that kind of shorts him a little bit and he's relegated to utility, but I feel like you can't pass up this opportunity, and Nico clearly is the better middle infielder, whether you have him at short or second. But like in terms of offseason, what would you like to see them do with the shortstop position? First base obviously could be Wisdom, third base could be Wisdom. Do you go outside of that? Big picture, what would you like to see them do this offseason?
I'm going to say something that I think is unpopular amongst Cubs fans, but I want to prioritize Carlos Correa. The dude's a stud. I mean, like, he's 28 years old, I think. Like, I think he's going to be 28 next season. Trey Turner is turning 30, I believe, next season. So, like, you take a look at the age difference there, and if you get the younger guy, you have him theoretically in his peak for a longer period of time to hopefully coincide with a competitive window.
Right.
He also hits the ball harder. He's not Trey Turner fast, but I don't think he's a detriment on the bases. I don't know that. I don't have anything to back that up, but I don't think he is. He's a smart baseball player, right? So yes, is he kind of a prima donna? Yeah, but at the same time, like, in some ways, not as much as a villain, like Javi kind of was too, right? Like Javi was all about the showmanship and stuff, but Javi did do it right. Like he didn't take himself too seriously, and it feels like maybe Correa does take himself a little too seriously.
Yeah,
I think he is. I won't consider it a loss if we don't sign him, but like he's my first choice. Turner's a very close second. I love Trey Turner. He's like electric to watch. And honestly, I don't really care for Bogarts.
No, he's definitely bringing up the rear for me too. Yeah.
I look at the numbers and they all look good, but I just feel like it's a bubble waiting to burst. I just feel like there's something there that I haven't poked into all of the underlying numbers, but I feel like there's something there that just is I have instinctual feelings about players, and I just don't. There's something about Bogarts that I'm not sold. What do you guys want to see?
I was just gonna say, I'd like to see Swanson just because he's so young, and I just looked up his age. He's 28 already, so I don't know where.
I also think that Swanson, he last season he was good. This season he was really good, but before and
it
again,
that's time.
It did take him a long time, but then we're also coming off a conversation about Ian Happ, who it took him a long time to put together too. And Swanson is playing Gold Glove caliber defense apparently at shortstop, and is even a peg offensively higher than Happ. So I don't know, man. I what it comes down to is I want to caution Cubs fans and say I don't think that Jed has done anything for us to not trust him yet.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you guys agree? I haven't seen a move where I've been no, that was a loss. Everything is still pending. All the big moves are kind of still pending in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Vinny. What do you think about that? Is there anything in particular?
For what Jed's been doing?
What Jed's been doing, and if there's a certain short out of those shortstops, who would you also like to see between those as well?
I guess I'll start with the shortstops. To get back to your point about Carlos Correa, his sprint speed per baseball savant is at 45. He's dead middle, so it's either way. He's I guess a little bit below average. 50s average, so not great, but whatever. Correa's my number one, just because he doesn't have the qualifying offer attached to him. Trey Turner's going to have that attached to him, so you have that unless they get. We know how much they value draft picks within the organization, so if he's got that there, and Wilson stays with the Cubs, I don't think they're going to pursue anybody with a qualifying offer. So I think it's probably Correa or bust, because I think the other three will probably have a qualifying offer. I know Turner will, and I think Dansby Swanson and Bogarts will both have a qualifying offer, if I'm not mistaken. So I like Carlos Correa. I know he's got that that villain persona to him, but I know I was listening to The Score, and they were interviewing a beat writer for the Twins, and he goes, Carlos Correa gets a bad rap, but he's an honest guy amongst the press. So the press love him. He just kind of has that bad vibe, and it's kind of reminds me of Joakim Noah, a guy. Other teams hate. I know. I living in Wisconsin, Bucks fans hated Joakim Noah, but I love the guy. And you know what? When he was with Florida, I hated him when he was on Florida. And then he was who is this goofball out there? But then when he was with the Bulls, I absolutely loved him. He was one of my favorite players. So I feel like he's kind of like that. Obviously, he's probably not nearly as fun loving as Joakim Noah is, because he doesn't put off that personality at all. But I think he's exactly, Jake. But I think if he's on your team, I think you like him. And like you said, he's a stud. The guy's a World Series winner. So I don't think they can go wrong with any of the four that they pick. But yeah, Correa is my number one, with Trey Turner being number two.
I was really impressed in. You'll have to forgive me. My mind is mush at this point. I can't remember if it was on FS1 or ESPN or TBS or whatever channel.
I know what you're about to say.
They had him on as an analyst, and holy cow, is he very well read and very articulate. When he was breaking down old school mentality, you'd get your batting average and your RBIs, and that's all anybody cared about. And then him going through and explaining some of these, the analytical stats with, WRC plus and all these things. I'm wow, that gave me a complete new appreciation for him. It almost reminded me of how much I don't like A-Rod. And then when A-Rod did analytical work during the Cubs World Series, I was wow, this guy isn't that bad. And then he went back to being A-Rod, and I've written him off again. But that really wow. I was really impressed. And I mean, I'm a nobody, but I'm you know what? All right, I could totally get on board with him shoring up shortstop, even though it doesn't need to be shored up, but the lineup itself will get shored up then. Yes. So we'll see what happens. The only other big Cubs thing I had is there is now some talk that Kodak Senga, if I'm saying his name right, I hope I am.
Kodai.
Is it Kodai? I think it's Kodai. Thank you. Oh, you know what? My autocorrect changed it to Kodak.
I was gonna say that's not spelled right.
Nothing but the best here on baseball and whatever.
Right.
Yes, I believe it is Kodai. Now that you mention it, there's some links there. Like I can't imagine a rotation if you bring him over. You know, you have hopefully Kyle Hendricks returning to form or close to form. Justin Steele, Keegan Thompson. I know there's like this push to put him back in the bullpen and be a long guy, but man, I loved seeing him in the starting rotation. And then Marcus Stroman, like that, like all of a sudden you have like a super sound starting rotation in addition to these bats that are being very consistent. Like, I don't know, like in terms of pitching, is there anything else you guys, either one of you guys would look for, or would you be content with someone coming overseas? I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Let you go first, Jake.
I think so. I was talking to Mitch, one of my co-hosts on the Dingers pod earlier, and he was doing a video. I don't know if he's posted it yet, but he was breaking down Senga, and the thing that I don't think we can expect him to be an ace, like right when he comes over.
Sure.
So that's the important thing, and like Stroman is a good 2.
Yeah.
We're still left without an ace. And like, I don't think we can expect you can't expect Wisniewski to take an ace leap next year. I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's impossible, but I think the odds are very slim.
Sure.
So like, I keep kind of going back and forth on Rodon. I have no idea. Like, he's 30 and he has an injury history.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, if we could get him on a 4-year deal, sign me up. But I don't like. Someone's probably gonna pony up a 6-year deal, and depending on what the AAV is there, like I don't know. But that's the thing is like if we get Senga, I'm very happy. Very happy.
Yeah,
like the guy's numbers in the last 2 seasons have been phenomenal. How they translate to the show is yet to be seen. Obviously, we can only speculate, but I would guess that he ends up being somewhere like in a 2-3 range.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. Like I know I get what you're saying about Thompson. Like I love Thompson's bulldog mentality, but like the ideal setup would be have a rotation that's strong enough that he can start the season in the bullpen.
That is a good point. That is a very good point. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I think you nailed it. You still need that ace. Rodon is like the sexy name that's out there. I don't know what else you could do. I don't know if they try and like.
If you trade for Bieber, like I know that's been talked about, and like that's the other thing too. So like we talked about extending Happ, and I think the way a Happ extension happens is if we trade for Bieber and the deal doesn't include Happ. Which for the Guardians, it wouldn't make sense for them in their competitive cycle to trade for Happ.
Yeah.
So we would trade the 1 or 2 outfield prospects, which then would relinquish some of that depth, which is okay because we have it.
Yeah.
And then you extend Happ because you don't have someone waiting in the wings, and you hopefully one of the guys that you traded was hopefully a corner outfielder. So there's a lot of moving parts. But I think if you can get all of that to work, it makes total sense for the Cubs. The big thing is going to be like, okay, but like, what if Kevin Alcantara, becomes a complete stud, or Canario is a complete stud? And those are probably like, I would see them trading one or both of those guys for Bieber, not PCA or Davis.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, the one saving grace is like the fact that we're having this conversation of you just named 4 guys that, 2 of them which could be moved, where like in not to downplay Theo's regime because he did bring a World Series, so to speak, but like once all those main guys got called up, that was it. Like there wasn't really a whole lot. So like as much crap as I used to give Jed Hoyer, like I kind of see the gears turning, and going back to your earlier point about like, not wanting to kind of call out any of his deals yet because they're still works in progress. And like even like seeing Yu Darvish pitching this offseason or this postseason has been really hard, and I still think like pure salary dump for that one, but like the way that they have kind of changed their trajectory on the fly, because like last year it was well documented, I was pissed on this podcast about having to go through another rebuild and like.
No, not you, Justin.
No, never. And now the Hawks are in a rebuild, which is a whole other thing. But anyway, like having to go through that all over again, but like with some really fine tuning in reloading and things like that. Like within one season, I am shocked, genuinely was shocked by the end of the season. Like, wow, they actually look like they could make some noise next season. Now, are we talking like NLCS? I don't know, probably not. But if they get a wild card and they get into the divisional series, like I would be highly impressed, like for it to turn around that quickly. So props to
I think that's what we should be expecting, though. Like Justin, you should expect like with the wild card series the way that it
especially
is,
now,
like, like I think impressed, but also like have that expectation, and I think that Jed has that expectation. I think that he knows like that's like I think that's what they're shooting for this offseason.
I hope.
I mean, I got that vibe from his presser at the year end.
Week,
Like he was talking about how much he missed being in October and having October baseball to worry about. So I mean, right there and there, like they have to do something this offseason to get an ace somewhere, whether it's through trade. I mean, heck, why don't they just go for Ohtani and they get themselves themselves an impact back.
Yeah.
Yep, two pieces right there.
Need that lefty bat, so
exactly. But I think that's reasonable expectations is the wild card. But you know what, Justin, I'll probably pick them to win the division again.
Yeah, maybe
year.
Don't do that again, Vinny. That I'm still.
I don't know though, but like I mean, look, the Brewers fell off. Like they fell so flat.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are losing the heart and soul. Like whether or not we want to admit, they're losing the heart and soul of their team in Yachty. Pujols is gone, and he came on really strong.
Yes, he did. He carried them for a little while.
Yeah. And who knows what Wainwright's going to do? And I'm not like, I don't know what their starting rotation is going to look like next year.
Yeah.
Yes, they have Goldie and Arenado locked down at the corners, but aside from that, the division is wide open, man.
Yeah, that's true.
And Jed's gotta smell blood in the water, right? Like it's depending on the moves that are made this offseason, I don't think it would be wild to pick the Cubs as a division fit. Because I don't know what the records were, but what was their record compared to the Brewers and the Cardinals in the second half?
Oh, I want to say the Cubs were 38.
They were 39 and 31
at the second half. Yeah. So I'd be curious to see what the other two teams' records were too, because obviously, I mean, the Cubs looked there was how many times was it? At least once or twice where they got flexed to prime time, and I did not see that coming. You know what I mean? Because they were a popular team again. So yeah, that's actually a really good point. All right, well, Vinny, I won't make fun of you if you pick them for the division next season.
There we go. We'll see what they do this offseason.
We still.
I want to say one thing, and I know we want to get to Bears stuff too, but I've been kind of slowly. I just want everybody to look out for Cody Bellinger this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I think he's going to get non-tendered, and if not, he's going to be a really cheap trade. And he fills center field defensively. He's got 1 year left in arbitration. He fills center field defensively. Still plays a very good center field. He's a left-handed, theoretically power bat, and he can play first base. So it's he fills potentially 3 holes for the Cubs. Yep. He's only 27 years old. He's a rookie of the year and MVP winner.
I'll be honest, that did not even cross my mind until you just said it, but that does make a lot of sense.
It makes, but the thing is, it's going to be an under the radar thing. And that's kind of the reason why I don't know if he's going to be he's a non-tender candidate. He's been really bad.
Yeah.
He's been really bad.
His slash line this year was 210, 265, 389, 19 homers and 68 RBIs, 150 Ks and 504 at bats.
Wait, so 19 homers?
19 homers still.
I think that might have led the White Sox.
It would have.
It would have. Yeah. I heard today that the team leader was 17.
Oh gosh, that's terrible.
Oh man, I feel like that's setting baseball back to the 1940s, 1950s.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, Bellinger this year, 83 WRC plus, so 17% below league average. So not good, but again, defensively still really good, and that he's got it.
He's got the talent. Yeah.
It's if he's shown once that he could do it, any player, I feel if they've shown once that they can do it, they can achieve at least like 75% of that level again.
Oh, for sure.
And I would love to see, but again, I think if he's non-tendered, it's going to be like a lot of teams are going to want to scoop him up.
Yeah.
And if he's not, like, maybe there is like a weirdly competitive trade market to buy low on him. So I do think though, like Bleacher Nation kind of pointed it out in an article earlier this week or last week. So I really want to keep an eye on how that. I would change the scenery, bring him to Wrigley. Yeah. Good vibes. Everybody, I'd love to see what happens there.
Well, Trace Thompson replaced him in the NLCS. It was not NLCS or was
the DS,
DS series, but he got replaced during the playoffs. So I definitely think non-tender probably might be the option.
Yeah, because he's owed a lot, and they're probably. I think he's like he could be owed like $15+ million in arbitration, and the Dodgers probably want to dump that. Because I don't know what their luxury tax situation is, but that's like if people are like, why would they non-tender this guy because he's owed a lot of money, and the Cubs can pay that money.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you nailed it. Before we get to the Bears talk, real quick, just update. Top of the ninth right now. Astros are up 3-2 against the Yankees with 2 outs. So we'll see there if they end up going up 2-0. We got the Phillies and Padres tomorrow. That series is split. Before we go on to the football talk, is there a team or a series you guys are hoping for? Or a series are hoping that you don't see? I know we talked about, I think in the pre-show a little bit about the AL series. I sound awful saying this, but like I could not care less because those are 2 teams. I don't have it in me. Like I can't find a rooting interest. Yes, Rizzo's on the team, but like we discussed earlier, like I feel like he's kind of got like the Evil Empire vibe going already. I don't know. And the Astros, Dusty, I still appreciate from his Cub days and just the legacy he's had in the league. But, Bregman and Altuve. Oh, don't get me started on Altuve. So, like, yes, Justin Verlander's pretty cool. I still dig him. But, like, it's really hard. The NL Series is definitely the one I've been following more. But in terms of final World Series, Jake, we can start with you. What would you like to see, or is there a certain team you have a rooting interest in so far?
I'd be happy with either National League team. Mm-hmm. I like guys on both sides.
Yeah.
I love Bryce Harper, man. I love Bryce Harper. He's so fun to watch. And then obviously he's not the only guy on. I won't go everybody on the Phillies that I like, but like, and then the Padres, like obviously we've got Darvish, and you got Juan Soto, man.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy that the Padres have made it this far without Fernando Tatis. Like, so it's
I feel like he's as good as gone now, right? Like in terms of like when he does come back, do they like, we don't need you, and they try and ship him out?
He's not. I don't think so because of the contract, but it's a huge contract. But I think that he is not going to be the face of the franchise the way that he was. No. He's going to have to really work to regain that. So I'd be happy with either of those teams, honestly. And then the lesser of 2 evils on the AL side for me is the Astros. I just the Yankees are the Lakers are the Patriots. Yeah. So I just I don't
can't
care.
Do it. No.
Yep.
No, I feel like you can find and pick and choose. And I think you nailed it. The NL teams, I'd like to see the Padres just because they've never won the World Series as far as I
think that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know they've come close or they've made it a couple times, but and I loved Tony Gwynn as a kid, was one of my favorite players. Yeah, I mean on the Phillies side, I wouldn't mind the Phillies either. I still like Carl Schwarber. I know he kind of stirred up a hornet's nest. Was it this week or last week on Twitter? Somebody reported that he's like, "Oh, these Phillies games. I've never been a part of an environment like this." It's like, oh, how quickly we forget young Kyle. Like, I don't know, man.
I think he said, somebody pointed out that I think he said division series.
Okay, that makes sense then.
And so it's like, they're like, okay, so it's kind of like a little, we're parsing the terms. Yeah.
I don't know. And I still, even though he's a Philly, like he's somebody I still follow from afar, where I can't say the same for Rizzo, really. And Bryant was hurt for so long, and Javi, I don't know what was going on with Javi this season.
Brutal.
There's still that gif of, is it Sister Jean from Loyola throwing up the first pitch, and he's
striking him out.
I watched that way too many times, just over and over and over again. Vinny, what about you? Is there a certain series or team you're hoping for?
Not the Yankees, not necessarily because it's the evil empire. I don't want to ever have to hear or see a tweet from Roger Maris Jr. ever again. I just saw him tweet out something about how the Yankees have the AL home run record holder and the NL home run record holder because they have Stanton on their team, and I blood started boiling. I probably almost had a stroke there.
I'm sure he's a very nice man, but God, read the room, dude. Go away.
Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
and so the Astros, I guess, if I have to pick one. Plus they have the Cubs legendary catcher Martin Maldonado on the team.
True. That's
true.
So
they got him and Dusty. And then with the NL, kind of like you guys said, either one. The Padres probably, just because I like Juan Soto more. If I have to pick one player out of both those teams that I like the most, it'd probably be Juan Soto. So I have to lean towards the Padres. Plus, it would also be really funny that Josh Hader makes it to the World Series after being traded by the Brewers, and the Brewers didn't win the division. So there's some comedy in that I can give some people at work some shit about. So.
All right. Well, let's close the book on the baseball talk. We'll talk very abbreviated football, and then we have our whatever segment to get to. So, Vinny, let's move on to the football talk.
Manures of the Midway, where the guys talk the pile of horse crap that is the Chicago Bears.
When you consider the other choices, manure is actually pretty refreshing.
I have to say, Vinny, when we made that for last year, and clearly they were very bad last year, and then this offseason, I was like, are we going to have to change the intro for this segment because they might be good? They have saved us like 35 minutes of changing the intro because they are still god-awful. The one thing I want to say before we do like our little Patriots-Bears prediction is, do you guys think, I feel like the media to a certain extent, and maybe the fan base, I don't know, the fan base is so goofy. I still don't understand the Bears fan base, and I'm a part of it. But, I feel like the media is starting to turn on Bears management and front office a little bit because it is so evident. I don't know how you grade Justin Fields this season because he literally has nothing. And I know going in, we kind of assumed that, but, they're going to get him killed. He is, I feel so bad for the guy. And then you see the gifs of him on the sideline, and it's I wouldn't want to be there either. You are in a horrible situation. So I don't know, Vinny, we can start with you. Predictions, what you think about the Bears and Commanders game, which was a complete shit show for a variety of reasons. But yeah, where do you want to take it, Vinny?
I guess I'll start with your I guess perceived
my claim.
The media. Yeah, I don't think the media is like the Bears management from day one. They definitely haven't liked Matt Eberflus from day one. I know that he's been kind of the butt of jokes with the hits principle. Yes, Justin, you were also, he was the butt of your jokes as well. You aren't a big fan of the hits principle.
No, acronym stuff is so stupid. But that's just me.
I know, I get that, but it works for football players.
It does.
But I don't know what they're doing with the line. If Lucas Patrick can snap the ball, he needs to be playing center. I've seen enough of Sam Mustipher. I think everybody except Olin Kreutz has seen enough of Sam Mustipher. I'm waiting for Olin Kreutz to come running down here and shove me in a closet.
You better be careful.
He's
gonna punch you like he did to Adam Hogue at CHGO.
Yeah, he's not listening to this podcast, so I'm safe. But yeah, I think they really need to put the best players out there, and if I don't know how they don't see what everybody else is seeing and seeing that Sam Mustipher does not belong in a starting role in any capacity in the NFL. I mean, once he's getting blocked into his other lineman just from a shove of a defensive lineman, that should tell you right there that he does not belong. I guess he's super intelligent from what a lot of people, that's the silver lining, is the guy's very intelligent. Have him be a coach. I don't know what to say. If he can't defend Justin Fields block, he doesn't belong on the line. So yeah, they need to get that fixed. And if they can't see what is clear as day, I don't know. Then I'm going to start questioning this the front office and coaching staff. But to kind of look at the Bears Patriots game, it's I don't know, the Patriots seem like they found their next Tom Brady and Bailey Zappi. Looks like Mac Jones is gonna end up losing his job to him.
Yeah. So
they have that unknown third string quarterback. I don't think it's gonna be good for the Bears. The way Belichick is on defense, he's a savant. So I think it's going to be
apart.
Yeah, I'm usually the optimist here, and I'm having a hard time. I'm still going to hang on to every offensive snap and just really hope that Justin Fields can do it. But God, after seeing that Commanders game and seeing the hits he took, I'm just going to pray that he can make it to the end of the season, still be in one piece, and not be just go through that. Was that David Carr was the quarterback for the Houston Texans, and just they completely ruined him with the same sort of offensive line mismanagement.
Jake, being up in Wisconsin, obviously we talked a little bit, before recording about, your Bears fandom in general, but like, is it, I know for me, like, obviously I'm not as much into football as much as like Vinnie, and the years that I buy Madden, I get much, much more into it. This year is not one of them. I played the trial and I was like, I'm good. I don't know if I need it, but, I don't know. Like, are you, in terms of like Bears Patriots, like, is that a game you'll even turn into, or are you like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to even watch this?
Yeah, I'll still watch all the games, and it's solely for Justin Fields, hoping to catch glimpses of what the greatness that I know this guy has, because I watched him destroy Wisconsin, right? I watched him just run just run the Big Ten at OSU. So it's like, I know it's there, and what's giving. So I still get 670 to score reaches up in Madison as well. And who's the guy that they who's the court, Trent Dilfer. They have him
every, him on the afternoon. Yep.
Yeah, every post game, the day after the game.
Yep.
Obviously last week was Friday. They had him twice last week. Dilfer's got a lot of good things to say, and he's seen every quarterback. Like he's had every quarterback at his camp. And like, he's still high on Fields. His camp, I don't know, the guy who helps coach the camp or whatever, Fields is his favorite quarterback that he's coached. I think it's hard to watch and know that not know, but have a good feeling this guy could be the fucking answer, and we're not getting him the pieces that he needs. And it just is God, because that dime that he dropped to Pettis in the backcourt of the end zone was oh my God, it was it was electric. It was and then what he can do with his feet too, and he's such a smart runner, and he knows there are still things that and again, I don't profess to know a lot about football. I love watching football. I don't know football on the level that I know baseball. Far from it.
Yep.
Sure.
But when they show highlights post game or halftime or even right after the play, where there was a play on last Thursday, I think it was, where it was 3rd and 3 or something like that, and he took a shot downfield to Mooney. Checking it down to Pettis or whoever it was just running a cross route for the first down. And I remember watching that and being like, dude, you only need 3 yards. What are you doing? And whoever the shorter route was open.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But the one thing that I have seeing too, so as much as some decisions, it kind of hurts to see. It's man, but I've seen him take advantage of the bailout to the running back multiple times, and those have panned out into a few times big plays. So, and again, that's because our only offense right now is the dual threat at running back. We're lucky that we've got Herbert and
Montgomery.
Yes.
Montgomery.
Yes.
I've got Herbert. That's what I know. Yes. Because you've got Herbert and Montgomery, the offense is somewhat watchable, right?
Yep.
But it just is. There are so many holes on the offense that just feels like it's never going to get fixed. Like this is not a one off season turnaround, right? Because like they need to build through the draft quite clearly. And I saw something today. It was like the Bears like last 7 first-round draft picks or something, and like half of them are out of the league, half of them are like, you know, like essentially like backups, and like 2 of them are good. It's like Floyd is Floyd even still start? Is he still starting in LA?
He's with the Rams. Yeah.
And then there was one other guy. Yeah, I mean, it just is like you got to hit on that first round pick. Yeah. So I don't know, if there are any educated football fans, like, I mean, Vinny, like, you being able to dissect offensive line play, like, I definitely pay more attention to it when I'm watching now. But I still don't know all of like the intricacies and stuff. But like, I will say, like, there have also been some things on defense that like have been somewhat promising. Like the young secondary has been solid. We still have Roquan. The defensive front is just abysmal. So it just is like, I don't know, man. I will watch all season because I'm a masochist. But
that's what
because living in Wisconsin, like I just want to be able to say, to Packers fans, like, hey, you see that?
Yeah.
You see, we got something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially now as like Aaron Rodgers is maybe retiring soon. I don't know, but
I think he's retiring like we're watching the retirement mid-season. He's been bad this year. Which is kind of nice to see.
I was going to say, is it bad that I take a little joy in that or no?
No.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah. It's funny, they drafted Jordan Love, and then he has back-to-back MVP seasons, and then they sign him for a big contract, and now he's they're like, what did we do? Yeah. Just to get back to your point, though, Jake, about not being able to fix the offense in one off season, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
I do like some of the pieces they have on the line. I'd like to see the left tackle. I can't think of his name right now. I'm thinking it's Larry Borum. He's the right tackle. Who's Braxton Jones? I like him there. He's a big guy. He definitely looks like he needs to put on some muscle. He for a lineman, he looks pretty skinny. I like him there. I like to see what he can do in a full off season of conditioning and strength building within the Bears organization. Borum's an okay piece. Jenkins on guard's been great. I think Whitehair, I think he's got maybe one more year, or maybe they have to make a decision with him. Hopefully they bring him back because he's been their best guy on the line so far. Yeah. So I think really centers obviously their most important piece. Maybe they go out and get a tackle if they can find some all-star Pro Bowl tackle on either side, I guess, to make it better, because both Borum and Braxton Jones are both young. So if you get somebody in there on a 3-year deal or something like that, they can step in afterwards when he's gone. So obviously they need to get a number one. Mooney's, he's okay. I've seen him drop way too many balls to be like, that guy, he's a number one. Last year even he had so many like deep balls that would just bounce off his hands, and it just drove me nuts. So when they made him the number one this offseason, I kind of bought into it, but it just still
he should have caught that he should have caught a number one catches that ball, like that game-winning ball.
Yeah, and he had a couple like that last year. Some big plays he could have made, but they just bounced right off his hands, and it wasn't like it was contested. It was there, and it just dropped it. So they needed a number one, and then maybe get another a wide receiver in there. Maybe N'Keal Harry works out and he can be your number two. We'll see. But I think it's possible to fix that. I think what they did in the draft this year, getting the cornerbacks, I did like that. I know a lot of people wanted to get wide receiver, but their cornerback situation was awful last year. I mean, how many games did Justin Fields? I think it was the Steelers game, the 49ers game, and there was one more game where the Ravens game, where they scored late, they had the lead, and then the opposing offense just drove down and they were passing the ball at will. The secondary was terrible last year. So I'm fine that they addressed it. I mean, obviously Fields is on his rookie deal. Everybody keeps saying that they're going to draft a quarterback high next year. That makes no sense to me whatsoever, because this ownership has shown to be overtly patient with their GMs. I mean, Ryan Pace had 7 years. So, I mean, he would be stupid to cut bait with Fields now. You just let him ride out his rookie deal, build up, the offensive line, the weapons, and then if Fields doesn't show that he can do it, then go out and get your quarterback, because you're probably going to be, top 10 pick if Fields doesn't work out or doesn't show that he can be a franchise type of quarterback. So I think there's optimism that they can turn this thing around quickly, especially with the cap space that they have going into next offseason. But this year, it's just... I pray for Fields that he can make it out alive.
Assuming he can, glazed over that, assuming he can make it out alive.
Yeah, right.
Do you think has he shown you enough?
Oh, for sure. I'm probably the biggest Justin Fields fan on this podcast, and being a Wisconsin fan, seeing him what he used to do to Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship games. I mean, he's done such great things, even in the NFL. I mean, I don't see how people that don't like
But
Fields.
Vinny, he's a Buckeye quarterback. They don't succeed.
Don't get me started on. Once somebody says that he came from OSU and that's why he's garbage, they've lost all credibility with me. But we've seen that the throw to Pettis last year, the Steelers game when he had that should have been game-winning drive where he's making good throws in tight windows. He can do that. Yes, he's missing some of the easy stuff, but I feel like that's the stuff that can be coached, is the easy stuff, the hard stuff, those deep balls that he's making. That's the hard stuff. That's the stuff that you can't teach. So I have hope for him. I just I hope the coaching staff can keep him on his feet and design plays that'll get him through at least the season alive.
Yeah. We will see. Pretzel Vince in the chat says the Bears will be on national TV, which means they will get outplayed. He might not be wrong. He might not be wrong about it.
And another thing with this team is, and I guess kind of a kudos to the coaching staff, is they don't quit. Like Matty's boys don't quit, I guess, to bring in the baseball perspective. They do play hard for him. So that's kind of a difference from last year with Matt Nagy. If they were out of a game early, they weren't coming back. So that's been a nice thing to see from this team.
I don't hear much about Eberflus, so that means that he must be doing a good job, because I feel like Nagy had an eye rolling comment every week, multiple times every week. And Flus hasn't had anything.
Not yet. No,
I don't hear anything about him. So it's okay, well, he must be doing something right,
He at least has social skills and people skills. He can at least present himself when he needs to. But all right, real quick before we move on to whatever, predictions. Vinny, prediction for this week's game, Monday night, Bears Patriots. What's the final score going to be?
Patriots 30, Bears 10.
All right, Jake, what about you?
I'm going to say Pats 24, Bears 17.
Wow. I appreciate the optimism. All right, I'm going to go 24-7 Pats. That's
God.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's
a crapshoot. I never know. Even that first week against the 49ers, I had no anticipation that they would do well, and they came out and they somehow won. So
hey, Velus Jones Jr. is going to run one back, you guys.
There we go.
Now, is he going to run it though? Is he going to run it? Is he going to hold on to the ball, or is he going to just run back to the end zone without the ball?
He might run the wrong way. Yeah.
All right. You know what? Let's go to something more fun instead of depressing like the Bears football season. Let's get on to our whatever topic. Top 5 minor league baseball logos. Vinny, let's do it.
Now it's time for whatever.
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 Whatever you want. Whatever I want.
Whatever, dude. Irrelevant.
Whatever, dude.
All right. So this week we are talking top 5 minor league baseball logos, and I'm not going to lie, this made me want to go out and buy some minor league caps. And I think I have a Portland Pickles hat at the moment, but that's it. So it's going to cost me to spend some money. Before we do get started, we did have one person write in on our Facebook page. I believe it was Cody. He said, I don't know if mascots count, but I have never been to Arkansas, but I totally own an Odie the Redneck Possum t-shirt from the Arkansas Travelers because it is totally awesome. So if you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/baseball and whatever, it is actually a really cool logo. And if they had that on a cap, I would totally buy that. So Cody, thank you for writing in. So, all right. So minor league logos could be the logo on the cap, could be a logo on the jersey, t-shirt, alternate logo, whatever. Minor league baseball affiliated, independent league, rookie league, whatever, as long as it's technically not the MLB. Vinny, you are going to be in charge because you're the whatever host now that Greg's on hiatus. So, Vinny, take it away.
All right. This is whatever baseball and whatever. This week we are, as Justin just
kind of stole your thunder.
about.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. We are ranking our top 5 MILB logos. For me, I don't know how you guys did yours. I only did MILB. I didn't do like Portland Pickles or the Disco Turkeys.
I did not either.
Savannah
No.
Bananas. I kept it within the major league or
traditional.
Yep, the affiliated teams of the minor leagues. So without further ado, Jake, I guess since you're the guest, you can go first. Who is your number 5 MILB logo?
The Kannapolis Cannonballers.
Nice. Good one.
Yes.
Yeah, the Cannonballers. So this is an easy one to describe. It's like a gumball head guy. So he's got this big head with like an old school like Evel Knievel helmet on, and it's like he's being shot out of a cannon. And I just think it's like a super unique, like really.
Greg's.
Whoops.
Sorry.
No, all good. I think you'll. Let's see. I like team names, like, because I took the names into account too.
Yep.
Okay.
So I liked Kannapolis Cannonballers. Like it rolls off the tongue well.
Yep.
And it's red, white, and blue. I didn't even look at the jerseys. I only looked at hats and logos. I don't know who they're affiliate of. I don't know what level they're at, but they are MILB. Kannapolis Cannonballers is my number 5.
Okay. Nice.
Nice.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, that
Justin,
was actually.
You want to go next?
Yes, that was actually somebody who wrote. One of my coworkers wrote in and also said they agree. The Kannapolis Cannonballers. I like the alliteration too. Like when you get the city in the name.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, my number 5. I kind of went back and forth. A while back, Vinny. I know Greg and I were on a show. I think it was the guys over at the 3 Spot. They had one of the minor league baseball correspondents of sportslogos.net on. He now hosts I'm trying to find his name. He now hosts the Baseball and Ice Cream podcast. He's a real big. He collects the baseball caps that are in the what am I trying to say, Vinny? Baseball,
the helmet cups.
The helmets. Thank you.
Ice cream.
Yes. Yes. So if you check out Count to Baseball, the Baseball and Ice Cream page, they now have a podcast as well. But this was on my list when we talked with those guys, and that is the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers.
Okay.
I love the logo with the W, but with the snake coiled around the one end of the W. Also love the crimsonish red and burgundy color with the tannish color of the snake. Really cool color scheme that I feel like you don't really see very often. But yeah, that W logo, if they didn't have the snake on it, I would find it extremely boring. But I love the way that they incorporated that. I feel like I'm also biased too because it's a Wisconsin thing and having so much family that now live there. But yeah, that is my number 5, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. And I want to say when I was in fall ball, that might have been my team. So maybe like nostalgic and like subconsciously picking that number 5. So that's my number 5 though.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's a good one. For me, the number 5 was the Eugene Emeralds. I actually have this hat. It is the big giant Sasquatch tree, or Sasquatch carrying a tree. It's a good logo. I like that. Again, that kind of plays with the Kannapolis Cannonballers, the Eugene Emeralds, and that was where Nico Hoerner also made an appearance there in his minor league stint. So yes, the Eugene Emeralds for me, number 5.
They were the Cubs affiliate from 2015 to 2020. Yeah.
Short season. Yeah.
Good choice. Yeah. I like the very like neon green parts of that logo with the darker green. It's
they have some cool alternate jerseys with that neon green too. It's like neon green with like black pinstripes.
Yeah. Like I feel like especially with minor league, you can go down like a really deep rabbit hole of just really unique stuff that obviously
I'm getting there. You wait.
Like the pro
just
teams
you
would
wait.
never take a chance on this, and I don't know if that's what makes it a minor league thing, but like it's so cool to see them kind of step outside the box. So
yeah,
for sure. All right,
and
what do you
four,
got, Jake?
Yep.
My number 4 would be the Hillsborough hops.
Oh, that's a good one. That's
I just like
one.
I just like so it's just a hop with a beer hop with a baseball hat on. I think it's like grimacing or something like that, something mean, making some mean face. I think their colors are green and blue.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's wearing like a blue hat, and then it's obviously the hop is green. Saw a couple of Hillsborough hops hats actually at a local brewery a couple weeks ago. I just thought it was cool to see people wearing minor league hats out in the wild.
Nice. Yeah, that is definitely a popular one. That blue and green combo I feel like is so nice because I don't know, I get so sick of just like all blue or all red or like blue and red. Like I like it when it's something more unique, something different. So I am right there with you with that. That's a good and a unique name too. Like how many professional or semi-professional teams are named after hops for beer? Like I don't know anybody. You know what I mean? So that's a good pick. Yes.
Nope. Number 4 for you.
Number 4, I kind of went back and forth. I had a couple different ones, but Vinny, I know that upsets you when I do more than one for one spot. So I deferred to an honorable mentions list later. But my number 4, I'm a sucker for like anything that corresponds with baby blue, which I know real manly. But the Daytona Tortugas, I love that logo. There's one hat in particular. It's a baby blue paneled hat. The front is white, and then it's got that green Tortuga logo. And like minor league, it's like, oh yeah, it's just a goofy looking animal holding a baseball bat. But there's something about like this old ass turtle holding a baseball bat with like the baby blue color scheme. And then you get into like their jerseys and uniforms. Like they're really, really neat, really, really unique. And their mascot's a turtle, which I dig. I don't know why. That turtles might pop up again somewhere else on this list, just an FYI. But that is my number 4, the Daytona Tortugas. I would love to see a game with them. They seem like a pretty cool franchise. So that's my number 4.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the San Francisco Giants organization, and I'm going with number 4. For me is the Richmond Flying Squirrels.
Oh yeah.
This is just a great logo. Not a crazy unique color scheme like the hops, but it's a squirrel, and it's a flying squirrel. He's flying through the air. He's got his colors, they're gray, black, and red. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool logo. So for me, the Richmond Flying Squirrels is number 4.
That is, man. Oh boy, did I do that?
Sorry,
or did you do that, Vinny?
That was me. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Big squirrel fans there. All right, yeah, like that logo, the one of like the one logo of the outstretched squirrel flying is really really cool on a baseball hat. Yeah, and I think like the red and black and gray is a cool color scheme too that you don't see very often. And yeah, anything that can really bring out like identity, like for example, I know this isn't minor league baseball, but the Padres City Connect jerseys and uniforms are still some of my favorite because it's just so wild for the MLB, number 1, and number 2, like no one else is going to look like that. So when you can design something that as soon as I see that's whatever franchise, like props to them. I just wish those City Connect things weren't so damn expensive. Like the fact that like even on like 47 Brands website, like there's like a premium charge for the City Connect stuff. It drives me insane. So all right, I'll stop complaining though about prices and being cheap because that's just how I roll. Sorry about that. Jake, we're back to you.
My number 3, the Omaha Storm Chasers.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Nice.
That's a good one.
It is a tornado like with baseball seams, so it's white and red, and then it's got a bat like in the middle of the tornado that like makes its nose. And I just think it's like one of the most creative logos I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Like from a design standpoint, very, very cool way of tackling that. And I also like when minor league teams pay homage to their major league affiliate with the same colors. So they are a Royals affiliate and they have the same colors as the Royals, but it's not like, whatever I think the Braves literally have like a minor league affiliate that's like the Braves. Like, so it's
like
that's
the Rome Braves maybe or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So it's cool that they paid homage, and like I just think it's my favorite logo on my list.
Mm-hmm.
But I did my list like looking at the team name and the logo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So my favorite logo, but that's my number 3.
That's a good pick.
Nice.
I don't know, sidebar, did you guys see that there's Twister 2 is now in production? Speaking of tornadoes.
No.
Twister 1 I saw when I was way too young, and it made me like deathly afraid of tornadoes for so long. I saw it on TV and I was like, I can't. Like, tornadoes are the worst thing. It's my biggest fear.
And especially growing up in the Midwest where like in the summer it's like you might get 1 or 2 like close calls, but like there's always that chance. Like I don't know about you guys, Vinny, I know you had always had a basement growing up out in Freeport, but like where I lived, our first house up until maybe like 6th grade where we lived, we did not have a basement. So like you said, Jake, I was scared of tornadoes to begin with because we didn't have a basement. And then Twister came out and I was in like probably 5th grade. I'm like, I can handle this. And I didn't see it in theaters, but it was on like HBO and we had HBO and it was on like every other day. And I watched it because like it was awesome. And then like that summer we had a pretty close call, bad tornado. And I remember running around the house, like screaming, like, we're going to die. The tornado's coming. There's going to be flying cows. And that was like the precipice of like the next summer. My parents were like, all right, maybe we need to start looking for a new house with a basement because this kid's driving us insane. So supposedly, though, like this has been talked about since when Bill Paxton was still alive. And then obviously he passed away. So supposedly the premise is it's going to be his and Helen Hunt's daughter that is now a storm chaser. And Helen Hunt is signed on to do the movie. So.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if it'll be any good, but
I'm sure it'll be fine, Justin.
I feel like when they bring back old movies from like 20 years ago, they never live up to
it'll be better than Avatar 2.
Well, yeah,
I mean, Top Gun Maverick.
That's true. That's a good point. I still need to see that. I have not seen that yet.
I haven't either, but I've heard that it's like
amazing.
blows the original out of the water.
I've heard it's amazing. Yeah, that. Well, and I know like there's a Christmas Story sequel that's coming out now with the original cast too.
Interesting.
And Ralphie is directing it apparently. I can't think.
Okay,
of name,
he's into he's still in Hollywood.
He's still in Hollywood. Yeah. So, all right. Sorry, sidebar there. Got into the movie talk there. All right, my number three. My number 3 is kind of a classic. This was one I remember as a kid. I like when for Christmas or my birthday, my parents would buy me like a baseball jersey or whatever that I would ask for. And I remember then we'd get like a catalog of like baseball hats or like sometimes they would send us minor league baseball stuff. And I don't know why, but this was one I always wanted. I've been meaning to buy one of these just because I feel like it's so iconic. The team is still around. The logo hasn't changed. The color really hasn't changed. The color is okay. But the logo itself, I just love, and that is the Chattanooga Lookouts.
Mm-hmm.
I love it's so simple, just the 2 eyeballs looking out. I love the logo. That's one that like there's been times where I've had that hat in my cart on their website, and then I'll click like shipping, and it's like, oh, it's $15 to ship it to you, and it's like, no, it's not, because I'm not buying this. So yeah, like that is definitely one. In going back to, I think Jake, you brought up a good point about like color scheme and logo and name and mascot and stuff, but like the color scheme is fine. It's kind of like monochrome, just mostly red and white. So like, whatever. Like I feel like red kind of is, there's too much red as I'm sitting in front of a red Blackhawks jersey. But the logo itself, like, is just so cool to me. It's so unique because there's nothing, I think there's some other team. I want to say it was like, is it the Eismore Storm? They did something similar with like 2 eyes, but it doesn't have that same like, I don't know, joie de vivre of the Chattanooga Lookouts.
I mean, you played MVP baseball.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
So like the Chattanooga Lookouts, like when you had minor league teams, that is the logo that I remember most vividly.
Yeah.
From playing MVP baseball franchises.
Yeah.
And I think that's why like I have a soft spot for the logo. There's like a nostalgia there.
I miss it. This is going to be blasphemy if Greg's listening because he is Mr. MLB The Show, which is good. And I did buy this season and I just had this year's game and I didn't even have time to play it. But those old MVP baseball games, still the best of all time for me.
They're the best.
The one with Pujols on, I think it was 04 with Pujols. I played that thing an unhealthy amount.
Yeah, and the soundtracks. I still like, I hear the songs and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, there's still songs on my iPod when I break that out that I'm oh, this was from MVP 04. This was like EA tracks. Like,
We talk about, my buddies and I talk about it all the time.
Like Snow Patrol had a song on there, I think, and
that was on the ALCS. They had that coming back from break. It was playing. I was like, holy shit!
Yeah,
I was like,
it's like, oh, this is from like almost 20 years ago. This is
that's wild.
Yes, that's my number 3. Vinny, back to you, man.
Nice. My number 3, I kind of cheated on this one, Justin, so shame on me.
Oh, Vinny, come on.
Yeah, but it's the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, the Pirate Edition.
Oh, that's not cheating. I
mean, it's not their. I tried to stay with the main logo,
it's still I
cheated for this one. Yeah,
and
but,
we, friend of the pod, Sam Wiederhaft. We had Wiederhaft. I feel like I should.
I think it's Wiederhaft.
Broadcaster of the Carolina.
I think it's Haft.
Yeah, the Pelicans, the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. Sorry, yeah, he came on. He was an awesome guy. Highly recommend if anybody wants to check out that. But yes, you are. That's such a good logo.
Yeah, that's a great logo. And now I think they just got hats back in, so I might have to buy one of those. But yeah, I just love it's the pretty much a skull of a pelican, and it's in the Jolly Roger type of I guess format, because it's got like the cross bones or something like that. And it's a really cool look, and I guess that's something because of the popularity of it. Last year when they introduced it, they did it like every Friday game they wore those uniforms. And they won. Didn't they win this year? They win the half season. I'm trying to remember.
They did, right?
I think so.
Which covers
maybe last
minor league
year.
system.
They were really good 2 years.
They were really
row.
Good. Yeah. So
but
that's a really.
I digress.
It's funny, Vinny, like, because when I've gone, especially getting ready to do this, like going back and looking at hats on the individual minor league team stores, it's amazing how many other people are similar to us that like obviously dig baseball caps and dig the logos and stuff like that, because there's so many times they're all out of stock. Like it blows my mind that there's obviously such a market for this, or their production is so low that's why it's all out of stock. One of the two.
Probably
I don't know.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. But good pick. That's a really good pick.
Thank
you.
Good pick. All right, Jake, number 2
for
you.
My number 2, I did go away from MILB.
Okay.
It's a collegiate league, so Northwoods League, which we all can get up on here in the Midwest. The Traverse City Pit Spitters.
All right, I got to look this up.
Oh, nice.
So Traverse City, I think, is known for cherries, and the Pit Spitters logo is like 2 cherries, and they're like spitting their
This is
pit.
awesome.
It is so sick. It's such a great logo, and Pit Spitters is a great name. So that's why Pit Spitters is my number 2.
Jake, I just pulled this up, and so like their primary logo is the 2 cherries spitting out baseballs, which is awesome. They're like on the vine or whatever. And then I don't know if you saw, they have 2 alternate logos of a cherry tree where the bark has the face, and that's spitting out a baseball, which is really cool. And then their other alternate, which this might be my favorite one. It's literally like a cartoonish baseball mitt catching 2 cherries. Like it is.
All the logos are great, and I'm really pretty sure they also like did an alternate. Like some of the teams will do they'll change their identity for like a single game or something. Yeah. And I think they did something beer related last summer, but I can't remember what it was. I'm pretty sure it was Traverse City.
That is yes, and it looks like at some point they were also the Traverse City Beach Bums, which that logo is actually kind of cool. Look, I'm pulling all these up, but the that is so cool. I'll be honest, I didn't even know that team existed. That's awesome though.
Yeah, well, I mean it's the Northwoods League, so it's summer collegiate ball. Like the only player that I know that played for the Mallards, which is the Madison team.
Yes. Yep.
Pete Alonso played for them in 16 or 15.
Okay.
So it's not the Cape Cod League. You don't get like the cream of the crop talent.
Yeah.
There are like MLB players that did play in the Northwoods League.
I'm going down like a deep dive on Google Images right now. Apparently at some point they also unveiled their alternate brand where they went by the Up North Cork Dorks.
Oh my God.
If you have a chance, Google this logo. It's literally a cork with its tongue sticking out, and he's got braces and like the real thick nerd glasses and the pinwheel cap.
Oh my God.
Up North Cork Dorks. I don't know whether to be afraid or be like, that's awesome. It's really weird looking. Really weird looking. But
that's something nightmares are made of.
I was going to say, and then their alternate for that was literally the Upper Peninsula is the rubber stopper for a wine bottle, and then the lower peninsula of Michigan is the actual cork. That's actually a really cool logo too. I'm gonna have to do like a dig through all these collegiate leagues just to find some stuff. I know out here we have the Joliet Slammers because there was an old huge gigantic prison in Joliet where Blues Brothers was filmed, and their logo is just a prison, and then their mascot is like a jailed jaybird, like with a prison jumpsuit on.
Damn.
It's kind of, it's like, oh, that's really cool, but oh man, that's also kind of weird too. I don't know. But all right, Vinny, are we back to me?
Yes, we are.
All right, I'm going to go. Number two, this is another one I have thought about buying a long time, and also was a huge fan of this logo as a kid. This is a Boston Red Sox affiliate, and they've done multiple different color schemes. I think at one point they were black and teal, which is like right up my wheelhouse, like 90s era. And now I believe they're mostly Red Sox colors, and that is the Portland Sea Dogs. As nice. Goofy of a logo as that is, just like this manatee. I don't know what a sea dog technically is. I guess a manatee, right? I don't know, or a porpoise. No, that's a dolphin.
Like a,
I don't know.
No, it looks like a sea dog.
Seal?
Is that like a seal or what's the other one?
This is why I'm not a science teacher, by the way.
Yeah, or a marine biologist.
Or a marine biologist, yes. Yeah, I love that logo. It's very simple. It's very cartoonish. It's clearly, as soon as you see that, you're like, oh, that is definitely minor league, because no pro team would ever wear that. Or if they did, it would have been updated and modernized way, way, way sooner. But I remember that logo. As a kid in the mid-'90s. Like, that has not changed at all.
Yeah.
So that is one. Kind of goofy, kind of silly, but I have a very soft spot for that logo. So that is the Portland Sea Dogs of the Red Sox affiliates for my number two.
Nice. That's a good one.
That is, yeah.
My number two is the Rocket City Trash Pandas. I think the logo, I own a hat of this team, but yeah, the logo is just hilarious. It's a raccoon. It's a trash panda in a trash can that is it converted into like a jetpack or a rocket.
Like
it's called a rocket ship, but it's like a jetpack almost, and he's flying through the air. It's just hilarious. And just the Rocket City Trash Pandas. It doesn't get any better than that.
And I want to say they're like based out of Alabama or Mississippi.
Yes, I think so. That's
Mobile, maybe? I don't know. Or Mobile, I guess. I don't know. But
yeah, I think it's somewhere in Alabama where there's a big
space.
Yeah, I think NASA had a community there back in the day. So yes, Rocket City Trash Pan is my number two. So
I think it's funny, if you go on their website, they have a whole backstory for their character of like how he got in his trash can and turned it into
a that's awesome.
Yeah, like they really did a deep dive on it. Yeah, it's crazy.
I know we talked about that
at some point.
But they made my number two. So
very nice.
Now we're on to number ones. Jake, your number one.
My number one. So we talked about the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, but for one day, June 20th in 2019, they changed their branding to the Wisconsin Udder Tuggers. And it's the greatest thing that I've ever seen.
Holy crap, yes.
It's a cow with its udder just like flapping in front, and it just is like they incorporated on the brim of the cap. It's like cow print.
Oh my holy cow!
It's phenomenal. And like, quick shout out to Official League hats. I'm wearing one of their hats. This is the Sydney Blue Sox, I think.
Okay.
And they also do all the stuff for the Portland Pickles hats and jerseys. And I reached out to them like sometime over the summer. I was like, you guys need to do an Udder Tuggers hat. Like, because I want like a really cool hat, like with a white front and like a pink brim and then black sides with that logo on the front. I just think the fact that it sounds like motherfuckers, the Wisconsin motherfuckers. Yep. So it's just like, it just is like, obviously awesome. Calling out the obvious, but it's just like, I think it's so great. The tongue-in-cheek reference that, they're the only other like milk reference in Wisconsin, like semi-pro sports, is the Milwaukee Milkmen.
Okay.
They're an independent league team. So I love that they did that. Now we just need some kind of like cheese curd reference team in Wisconsin, or like a brat like I could come up. Maybe that's what I'll do. Like I'll do for fun, like make like a brat logo or something. But
there
the Udder Tuggers, just legendary stuff.
I'm looking at right now on the Timber Rattlers website. You can still buy the Udder Tuggers hat for $40. It's fitted. Yeah, it's navy blue. It's got the Udder Tugger logo on it, and then like you said, the brim is literally a cow spot pattern, white and like a dark gray.
Yeah,
that. You know, as silly as it is, like that's really creative, especially with incorporating the brim. Because
it's a super well done logo. Yeah, like, they did not spare any expenses for one day, for one game. But they're obviously they're still selling merch because it's a hit.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that is so cool. That is. I had no idea that even was a thing. That's awesome. Very cool. All right, Vinny. I don't know. You might be disappointed by mine because this is now a defunct team.
I'm always disappointed by you, Justin.
Thank you. I've been disappointing you since your sister brought me home and I met you. All right. Maybe. Just a little bit. My number one, they are not around anymore. They rebranded. This new season was their rebranding. I know Vinny was at a game for, I think with his son or with his family recently. They are now the Beloit.
Oh.
What are they?
The Sky Carp.
The Sky Carp, which very cool color scheme. It's fine, but I love that goofy ass Beloit snapper logo of the turtle holding the bat like he's getting ready to literally step up to the plate. And again, perfect example of me being cheap. I remember when I heard they were rebranding, I kept watching the snapper store, and I'm like, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get a shirt on or a t-shirt or a hat really cheap because they're gonna be out of stock soon. And, like, I kept doing that and kept checking. And sure enough, like, my size hat was out. Or, you know, and now they're all gone. And now my opportunity to buy a Beloit Snappers hat is relegated to, like, eBay or Etsy. So we'll see what happens. But I love that logo. I was so bummed when I heard they were changing it. I still hope maybe they bring it back as, like, an alternate someday. It's just, you know, to me, minor league baseball is supposed to be fun and goofy and kind of kitschy. And, like, that is a great example, as is the other couple examples I gave. But my number one, the Beloit Snappers, Sky Carp, if you're listening, please bring them back at some point. I appreciate it. I know they still have the mascot wandering around as a turtle, right? Yeah.
Yep, he comes out every once in a while.
So, yeah, that's my number one, the Beloit Snappers.
It's a good one, Justin.
Thank you, Vinny. I appreciate it.
Yep. I like the color scheme of the Sky Carp because it's the color scheme of the Marlins, which is a good color scheme anyways in its own right. So my number one, Justin, this will be no surprise to you because I like this one so much when we did the rankings with the 3 spot.
Oh yeah.
It is the story behind this is the Quad City River Bandits.
Oh God.
Is my favorite one.
Do you want to share the story behind that before you?
Yeah, the mascot itself is it's a bandit, so it's a raccoon again. I must have a soft spot for raccoons subconsciously. But yeah, it's a raccoon with a cowboy hat and a bandana over its mouth. But the story behind it is that there was a river bandit gang that killed the town's namesake, and that's what the team is named after.
Like, that blows my mind. Why would you name your team after the people that killed the town leader?
I have no idea.
I don't get that at all.
But the logo's great.
Yes, it is.
I love it. Just that Western theme logo, just with the raccoon of all animals, is just they portray it as the with the bandit with the eyes and everything like that. So yeah, the River Bandits are my number one.
I totally forgot about that when we did that draft with those guys. That I remember you being very upset that Greg and I couldn't. I think, did we get that one for you? I can't remember if we were.
You did not. No.
Okay.
No, you guys did terrible.
The logo draft that they set up, we could not get that one for Vinny, and we heard about it afterwards. I do remember that now. But
yes.
All right. I don't know. You guys got any honorable mentions or any other ones that didn't make your list or almost made your list?
I'll do a quick one. I really like the Gwinnett Stripers.
Oh yeah,
It just is like a really well done logo. It's just I don't know what kind of fish. Really, really good looking fish. As I'm scrolling through again here too, I also really like the Asheville Tourists. They have a moon as their logo now with sunglasses on, which is kind of ironic. And hang on, there was one other. There's one that I'm surprised that none of us had on the list that I thought was like kind of a gimme. Where is it? Maybe I'm wrong. This is great podcasting.
That's all right.
Right?
That's all right.
Yeah, this is on par for us.
This is about our bar. Yeah. No, you're fine.
I really like the Sugarland Space Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
It's like super detailed for a baseball logo. It doesn't really like make sense, but just like pretty cool. Like that's an Astros affiliate.
Okay.
And then like if we're going like classic looking logos again, I don't think it's like really ever changed much. The Salt Lake Bees.
Oh yeah.
Like the Salt Lake Bees is a great logo. One of the places on our radar for like maybe we want to live there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, they've got a minor league affiliate, so I get to see some AAA guys there. So, and Ebbets Field Flannels has all their cool throwback stuff.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, gosh. Salt Lake Bees.
Very cool. That's
nice.
That Taurus logo is really cool too.
Isn't it pretty sick? The Asheville's always had good logos.
Yeah. It's very unique. I know. For me, I had Carolina Mudcats, just because I really, again, another one I remember from being a kid. New one that they just became this, or they just started a couple of years ago, and that's the Hartford Yard Goats.
Yes,
love that logo. Yep. Love the color scheme, the blue and green, and I love the fact that it's kind of an homage to the Hartford Whalers, which was the now defunct hockey team that's in Carolina. They have a really cool logo of the goat. Instead of chewing on a baseball bat, he's chewing on a hockey stick, and I've been trying to track that down, but I haven't been able to find it lately for sale. And then the last one, I didn't even know about this until we spoke with the guy over at Sports Logos, Paul, who does their minor league baseball discussions, and he introduced us to the Spokane Indians. And the logo itself is so cool because what they did is they literally met with the tribe that lives in reservations near there, and they said, okay, this is our team name. First of all, are you okay with it? What do you want us to do? And they said, yes, we're good. And they literally turned over the designing of the logo and the jersey and everything to the tribe, and they let them kind of design it. So much so to the point where occasionally they wear alternate uniforms that have the native language on the jersey.
Oh man,
it's so cool.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
And I know that's a discussion some people like hate to have and stuff, but like that is so cool the way they did that. And then they also do like nights where like any of the proceeds to certain I think it might be the proceeds for the jersey that have the native language on it, that any proceeds go straight to the tribe. Like that's the way you do it. Like if if you want to use that and it's cool with them, and that you let them design it in terms of the reservation of the tribe. Really, really cool. There's been a couple times where I've almost wanted to buy one just to like support that, because I think that's such a cool way of doing it. So those were my 3 honorable mentions for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had a list as I normally do here, but the
course.
Kannapolis Cannonballers were on there, the Erie Seawolves, Lakeland Flying Tigers, and that was actually, it was just those 3. So
nice job.
Yeah,
nice job.
Kept it short.
Very cool. Vinny, I know I didn't have a list of people that wrote in. Was there anyone else that touched
I
in?
had 2 people write in. Let me pull them up here because I added them to the list.
Oh, did you? I
deleted
the master
them.
one.
So,
yeah,
yes,
that was from last week. My bad.
Dr. Mantis wrote in, and he has as his top 5, number 5, Modesto Nuts, number 4, Richmond Flying Squirrels, number 3, the Eugene Emeralds, number 2, the Aberdeen Ironbirds, and number 1, Montgomery Biscuits.
Oh, that's a good
biscuits,
one.
Yeah.
The biscuits, yeah. That's a good one.
And then Jaybird wrote in, and his top 5, the Sugarland Skeeters, the Kokomo Jackrabbits, the Fond du Lac Stock Spiders, Joliet Slammers, and the Rocket City Trash Pandas is number 1. So nice. Good. I can't complain with either of those lists. They had a lot of my top 5s in there. So
I'm looking up this Fond du Lac Spiders.
The Dock Spiders I think are Northwoods League as well.
That's creepy looking as hell.
It's a fuzzy looking spider. Yeah.
As somebody who visiting my parents, and we go on the dock to go on the boat, and there's just spiders everywhere.
Yeah.
I love the font treatment. That's awesome. Oh, I do not like that logo at all. That is, I mean, it's cool, but personally, I can't
gross. Oh, that's a nightmare for me. No.
And the Kokomo Jackrabbits are Northwoods as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some really good stuff out there then in the Northwoods League for sure. That's
awesome. What like I know that there are so many. Oh, the Chicago Dogs are a decent honorable mention too, just because they do cool. They do cool. Like their hat is really nice, and they do really cool alternate logos based off of like the Chicago style hot dog. And you can't go like it's kind of an overused design motif, but like you kind of can't go wrong with the Chicago flag stuff.
No,
you can't.
Not at all.
You really can't. And I know like a couple of years ago, the Bulls implemented that in one of their like
yes.
association.
Oh my God.
And it was really cool. Really, really neat. No, I'm a sucker for like, even I think like 47 made like, they had a line of hats where it was just like city flags. And there was one with like the Chicago flag. And I'm like, I don't need a hat with the Chicago flag, but I kind of want one. You know what I mean? So I agree. Yeah. I'm a sucker for that. So, Jake, where can people find you? Anything you guys got coming up that you want to plug, promote? Anything you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter at baseball_Buj. You can find the podcast. I think it's just at Dinger Cubs. I don't think it's Dingers. Let me double check. Yeah, it's just at Dinger singular Cubs. That's all one word. So you can find us on Twitter there. You can find us on our YouTube channel, Dingers Cubs. Mitch runs the Twitter channel, and he does really good stuff on TikTok as well.
Okay.
He does some cool breakdown videos, and that's, I think, just Dinger Cubs on TikTok as well. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, our off-season schedule is going to be a little bit more sparse, but it's going to be I think we're going to be doing like mostly guests. So I'm kind of, once the playoffs are done, I kind of have some like national guests that I want to reach out to and see if they will join us this off-season.
Awesome.
So keep an eye out for that.
Very cool. Vinny, what do you think about that, having an off-season for the show? Can you imagine?
Yeah, right.
I mean, the guys, Mitch and Kevin are both teachers, and they each have 2+ kids. I think they each have 3 kids. So, and then Jeff just doesn't do anything. He's just a single guy living the bachelor dream. So I think like during the off season, they like to kind of, get into their teaching routines and stuff. And I totally respect that. And it makes my week a little bit easier, and there's not a lot going on right now. So it's okay to take a week off here and there.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. Vinny, you got anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
No, just thanks for hopping on with us, Jake. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you.
We were finally able to knock down a day and get this done. It was a lot of fun.
Hope we didn't take up too much of your time.
No, you guys, this is great. I'm glad we were finally able to make it happen.
You are welcome back anytime. Hopefully, if next time we have you on, we'll find a way to do it before. Maybe by next July we can have you on again. We'll see how.
Yeah, we'll have to see about maybe if you guys want to come on Dingers too. We've already got 4 hosts, so maybe one at a time. But that'd be a lot of fun to do some crossover stuff.
If you want to hear really bad, Cubs takes from me, you let me know. If you want the more analytical, smart approach, have Vinny on. The more tempered approach, I think that's.
You're too kind, Justin.
That's all right. You're doing great, but. All right, again, for us, for those of you that are listening or watching on YouTube and Twitch, don't forget, sometime next week, Vinny and I got to figure out when we're going to release it. Our interview with Jason Kendall, a lot of great stuff. He is just, I can't say enough things. Like, he is such a nice, genuine guy, talking about what it's like to be a catcher and why catchers are good picks for managerial positions. We discussed that. 98th season, great Sammy Sosa story about being overseas in Japan with him. And a little brouhaha that maybe went on against the national Japanese team they played against. Just awesome guy. Highly recommend it. I think it was about 50 minutes we did it with him. So tune in for that next week. And again, just our normal, typical things while I cue the outro music here. Hold on here. I'm going to vamp. Okay. Again, you can find us at baseballwhatever@gmail.com. Baseball and what is our Twitter handle. Twitch.tv/baseballwhatever. YouTube.com/baseballwhatever. And variety of podcast apps of choice. Go on Apple, Spotify. Leave us a nice review. We'd appreciate it. I think we have 20 reviews right now. Somebody left us a 1-star review, Vinny. It still bums me out. And they didn't even comment.
Doesn't surprise me.
They didn't even comment. If you want to tell
that's
us
the bad thing. Yeah,
I have no problem.
Let us know what we did wrong.
Yeah. So, again, also text line and voicemail line, 1-913-808-3278. That number again is 1-913-808-FARTS. And we will be back next week. Who knows what our topic will be, but we'll be back next week with more baseball and whatever. Thanks again, Jake. Thanks again, Vinny. And everybody have a great weekend.
See you.